Now let's take a look at this week's vigilante lowlife scum.
You low-life scum.
Writers and social critics like Chris Hedges have warned against the rise of right-wing fascist, racist, vigilante violence for quite some time. And recently, a study by the New America Foundation came out showing that white people are the biggest terror threat in the U.S. The study analyzed 26 attacks on U.S. soil classified as terror attacks and found that 19 of them were carried out by non-Muslims. So who are these non-Muslim groups and individuals? Well, they're right-wing, anti-government, and white supremacist groups. And I guess we might want to even adjust that study to reflect the most recent shooting at a Planned Parenthood in Colorado Springs, where a white man opened fire, leaving 3 dead and 9 injured. Furthermore, according to the Department of Justice statistics, whites are number 1 in pretty much all violence. In 2013, whites led all the other groups in aggravated assault, larceny, theft, arson, weapons carrying, and vandalism. When it comes to sexual assault, white takes the forcible rape cake. Ugh. They are also more likely to kill children, the elderly, family members, their significant others, and even themselves. They commit more sex-related crimes, gang-related crimes, and are more likely to kill at their places of employment. Meanwhile, somehow, blacks are thugs, Muslims are terrorists, Mexicans are rapists, and I'm sure there's plenty wrong with Asians, Native Americans, and other Spanish-speaking nations directly south of us. Obviously, Spain is okay. No. No. Statistically, realistically, no. We are cocooned in this echo chamber of hate and lies telling us that black and brown lives are not only worthless, but they're out to kill us. Meanwhile, in the midst of a Bill O'Reilly rant, someone that looks a lot like him and probably listens to his show shoots someone. And yet, in spite of all this evidence, I'm not going to sit here and say, be afraid of white people, or leave racist, hateful messages for your white neighbors, or tell your kids to avoid white kids at school. Because I know that what low-life scum like these white vigilantes do in the name of being white has nothing to do with me, and I want no part of it. I know that there are millions of amazing white people who fight for peace and justice against the violence of those pieces of shit. I know that telling you to be afraid of whites won't actually do fuck all to mitigate white vigilante violence, and will only serve to add more fear and hate to a cauldron already overflowing with both. At the same time, it is vital that we accept these facts, analyze and understand them, and understand why these are the facts and what we can do to change the trajectory. It's not about fearing white vigilantes, but being aware of the sharp rise in right-wing nutbag extremism. Be aware of it in the midst of this Islamophobia storm, in the midst of this anti-immigrant vortex, in the throes of folk devils trying to pull your attention away. Be aware and do something to stop it. And no, that does not mean grab a gun. Quite the opposite. Grab a book. Knowledge and intelligence are the extremists' kryptonite. Organize and rise up. The right may not know a fact if it bit them in the ass, but they can organize like a goose-stepping flash mob. Instead of infighting about what the eventual compost heap will look like in an egalitarian utopia, organize along the same lines of a common goal and move towards it. Don't get sidetracked by small differences and meaningless tiffs. Don't think that a namaste will save the world, and no, praying is not the answer. Otherwise, this would work. You and I both know that the majority of Muslims aren't terrorists, that most blacks aren't thugs and gangs, that most Hispanics aren't rapists. So it is wildly unacceptable to let that narrative flourish. We, the 99%, the peace-loving majority, know that most whites aren't these guys, so why are we letting them kill in our name? It's our job as the non-assholes of the world to stand up, not just to condemn the acts of ignorance and violence on behalf of our own race or our own belief, but to act on behalf of all races and beliefs, the human fucking race, to crush right-wing extremism and create the dialogue from which information, education, understanding, and peace can grow. On that note, to all the fascist, religious extremist, rebel, flag-waving, right-wing, white, violent nutbags out there, you are 100% pure, unmixed, non-diluted, low-life scum.
You low-life scum.